Have you ever met someone who thinks they know everything? It can be a little frustrating, right? Well, today we're going to travel back in time, over 2,000 years, to ancient Athens, to meet a man who was famous for the exact opposite reason. His name was Socrates, and he's considered one of the founding fathers of Western philosophy. The funny thing is, he never wrote a single book. Everything we know about him comes from his students, like the famous philosopher Plato. So, what made Socrates so special? It was his revolutionary idea, a phrase that has echoed through the centuries. I know that I know nothing. Now, wait a minute. How could one of the wisest men in history claim to know nothing? Doesn't that sound a bit strange? Let's unpack this. This wasn't about Socrates being ignorant or uneducated. Far from it. This statement was the very foundation of his wisdom. It was an expression of deep intellectual humility. Imagine the Athens of Socrates' day. It was a bustling city full of politicians, poets, and so-called experts or sophists who claimed to have all the answers. They would charge money to teach people how to be successful and virtuous. Socrates saw a problem with this. He noticed that these people, who were so confident in their knowledge, often couldn't really explain the very concepts they claimed to be experts on. So Socrates developed a unique method of conversation, which we now call the Socratic method. He would wander through the agora, the central marketplace of Athens, and start conversations with people. He would ask them simple-sounding questions about big ideas like, "What is justice?" Or, "What is courage?" A general might say, "Courage is standing your ground in battle." Socrates would then ask, "But what if a strategic retreat is the wiser, more courageous action?" Through this process of questioning, he would reveal the contradictions and gaps in their understanding. His goal wasn't to embarrass people or to prove he was smarter, not at all. His mission, as he saw it, was to be a kind of gadfly, an annoying insect that stings a lazy horse to wake it up. He wanted to sting the people of Athens out of their intellectual laziness and their false sense of certainty. He believed that the first step to true wisdom was acknowledging your own ignorance. Once you admit you don't know something, you become open to learning, you become curious. You start searching for the truth. Think about it in our own lives. How often do we hold strong opinions without really examining why we believe them? How often do we stop asking questions because we think we already have the answers? Socrates' philosophy challenges us to question our assumptions, to be humble enough to say, "I'm not sure." Let's find out. This mindset is crucial not just for philosophy, but for science, for personal growth, and for building better relationships. When you stop needing to be right, you start being able to truly listen and learn from others. This powerful idea is also a great tool for learning English. When you're learning a new language, you have to be comfortable not knowing. You have to be willing to make mistakes and ask questions. Every time you ask, "What does this word mean?" Or, "How do you use this grammar rule?" you are practicing the Socratic method on yourself. You are acknowledging a gap in your knowledge and taking a step to fill it. So, in a way, every language learner is a bit of a philosopher. Let's look at some key vocabulary from our discussion so far. The first word is philosophy. It comes from the Greek words philo, meaning love, and sophia, meaning wisdom. So philosophy is literally the love of wisdom. A philosopher is a lover of wisdom. Another key term is the Socratic method. This is a form of dialogue based on asking and answering questions to stimulate critical thinking and draw out ideas. It's about inquiry, not debate. Finally, intellectual humility. This is the awareness that your own knowledge is limited. It's the opposite of arrogance. Recognizing that you know nothing is the ultimate form of intellectual humility. But Socrates' story doesn't have a happy ending. His constant questioning made some powerful people in Athens very angry. They accused him of corrupting the youth and not respecting the city's gods. They put him on trial. Socrates had a chance to apologize or to suggest a light punishment, but he refused. He argued that he was actually a gift to the city, helping people examine their lives. He famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." He believed that a life lived without questioning, without self-reflection, was meaningless. For Socrates, the pursuit of virtue and truth was more important than life itself. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. He accepted his fate calmly, surrounded by his friends, and drank a cup of poison hemlock, as was the custom. He died for his principles, leaving behind a legacy that would shape the world forever. So, what can we, in the 21st century, learn from a man who lived thousands of years ago? We can learn the power of asking why. We can learn the value of admitting when we don't know. In a world saturated with information and loud opinions, Socrates' wisdom is more relevant than ever. It reminds us to be curious, to be critical thinkers, and to be humble. The journey to knowledge begins not with an answer, but with a question. It begins with the courage to say, I know that I know nothing. So, I invite you to be a little more Socratic in your daily life. The next time you hear a claim, ask for the evidence. The next time you have a strong opinion, ask yourself why you hold it. And as you continue your English learning journey, embrace the moments of not knowing. They are not signs of failure. They are opportunities for growth. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the mind of Socrates. I hope it has given you some food for thought. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more big ideas while improving your English, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us create more content just like this. See you in the next video.